Yeah, so recording started. Okay, so friends, today's class, we are going to discuss about one topic called that is memory units and number system. Okay, so please everyone take your notes also along with you because there are some problems that I'm going to solve today. So please everyone take the notes. Okay, and try to maintain some kind of running today. Okay, right. So first let's talk about one thing that is how actually data is stored in the memory. Like for example, when you stored any movies, like when you stored any movie or when you stored any photos, all this how internally being stored in the memory. So in form of zeros and ones. So in form of zeros, comma ones. Like so in your desktop, maybe you have like say C drive, D drive, E drive, desktop documents, all these things is there, right? So all these things actually in the memory, okay, so they will be stored in form of zeros and ones. So computer can understand only these two things, zeros, comma, ones, right? Okay, so how data is stored in the memory? So in form of zeros and ones. So in form of zeros and ones. So let's talk about these zeros and ones. Okay, so these zeros and ones are called as bits. Okay, so if somebody is turned on their camera, kindly turn off. I'll give maybe wait, I'll make you to off their camera. Okay, so these zeros and ones are actually called as bits. So whatever these zeros and ones are there, na, so they are called as bits. They are called as bits. Bits. Okay, right. So the full form of the bit is binary digit. The full form of bit is binary digit. Okay. Now in this, they have taken B separate. They have taken last two IT separate. So in short form, they are going to call as bit. Okay. So this bit can be either 0 or so bit can be 1. So it can be either 0 or it can be 1. Okay. So now let's understand one question. That is, the question is, with n bits, how many different patterns are possible? Okay, what is meant by pattern is, for example, if I take 1 bit, so see the solution. So if I take n is equal to 1, okay, so if I take 1 bit, then we have two different patterns are there. That is 0 is one pattern and 1 is another pattern. This is when n is equal to 1. Now, if I take n is equal to 2 bits, so if I take n is equal to 2 bits, then the number of patterns that are possible are, so first you put 0, then you write this 0, then again you put 0, then you write this 1. Similarly, here you first put 1, then you write 0, then you put 1, and then you write 1. Okay. So this is, let's say, first bit B1. This is another bit B2. 2 bits. Okay. So here we have only 1 bit. So only 1 bit. So therefore, if you see, with 1 bit, we have two different patterns are possible. So 2 patterns. 2 patterns. Whereas if you have 4 bits, sorry, if you have 2 bits, then total 4 patterns are possible. So total 4 patterns are possible. Patterns. Now, if I have 3 bits, for example, if I have 3 bits, n is equal to 3. N is equal to 3 bits. Then see what's going to happen. So 3 bits means B3, B2, and B1. Okay. So you take all these 4 as it is. So you take these 4 as it is and you put it here. Okay. In place of the B3, first you put all the zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0. Then next, again you take these 4 as it is. Okay. And you can put all ones here. You can put all ones here. So therefore, with 3 bits, how many patterns are possible? So with 3 bits, total patterns that are possible are 8. So 8 patterns are possible. 8 patterns. Now, what if I take n is equal to 4? So n is equal to 4 bits. Then can you guess how many patterns are possible? N is equal to 4. Very good. So you have already 8 patterns now. So 4 means B4, B3, B2, B1. Okay. So you copy all these 3, all the 8 as it is, and you keep it here. So you can take all these 8, you can keep it here. And in place of B4, you can put all the zeros. That is 0, 0, 0 is one pattern. So 0, 0, 0, 1 is another pattern. 0, 0, 1, 0 is another pattern. So like that. Similarly, I can keep 1 also here. Na? So you can again copy all this and you put it here. Then all ones you can keep. So you can keep all ones. All ones. Okay. So total, if you count it here, already 8, another 8. So 16 patterns are possible. So total 16 patterns are possible. Now next, if n is equal to 5 bits, then can you guess how many? If n is equal to 5 bits, then how many? So we have already 16 now. Now one more bit will get added. So 16 plus 16. So that is 32 patterns. 32 patterns. Okay. Right. So in general, if you have n bits, then 2 power n patterns are possible. 2 power n patterns are possible. Okay. So just remember this, friends. So if you have n bits, then 2 power n patterns are possible. Okay. Now I'll give you one question based on this. Okay. So kindly read the question carefully and answer. Okay. So read this question and answer. So my question is minimum how many? Minimum how many bits are required to address them? Minimum how many bits are required to address them? So total, which means they are asking, there are total 76 patterns you have to get it. One pattern I can address one student. So if you have total 76 are there, then how many bits are required? So how many bits are required? So 6 bits. Okay. Somebody is giving 7 bits also. Okay. So see the solution. See the solution here. So if you have only 1 bit, then how many patterns are possible? If you have only 1 bit, how many patterns? So very good. So 2 patterns are possible. Okay. So how many students you can address with it? If you have 2 patterns, how many students you can address? So one pattern is 0 and another pattern is 1. So with 0, I can address one student, S1. With 1, I can address another student, S2. So total 2 students I can address. I can address 2 students. Right. But I want to address 76 students. I want to address 76 students. Okay. Then you tell me 2 bits are enough? With 2 bits, can you address the 76 students? No, you will get only 4 patterns, but you want 76. So this cannot help. Now, does 3 bits can help? No. 4 bits can help? No. 5 bits can help? No. 6 bits can help? No. With 6 bits, how many patterns are possible? First of all, 64 patterns are possible, but you want to address 76 students now. So therefore 6 bits also not enough. With 7 bits, 7 bits. How many patterns are possible? 2 power 7, that is 128. 128 patterns you are going to get it. Okay. Therefore, 128 students you can address. You want only 76, right? Yes, this is enough. Enough. Okay. You tell me, with 8 bits also, can I address? With 8 bits also, can I address 76 students? Yes. With 8 bits, 256 possibilities you are going to get it. But what is the question they are asking? Minimum. So minimum how many? Minimum how many? So therefore, what is the answer? So answer is 7 bits. The answer is 7 bits. So understood, right, everyone? How to solve these kind of things? Okay. Right? Okay. Ari, please concentrate here and kindly listen. What is there here to explain one more time? Tell me. Is any comedy show to explain one more time? I clearly explaining each and everything detailed. I don't know whether you are focusing on the screen or listening somewhere else. Even if I explain one more time, I'm going to do the same thing. Even if I explain one more time, also I'll repeat the same thing only, right? So I have clearly told what is a bit and what is a pattern, right? And I told one formula also here. Then I have explained properly what is happening. What is here to explain one more time? Is there any complex thing is there? I can explain one more time. Correct? So kindly be attend here only. Okay. Not think about here and there. Okay. So now next. So we know that 1 bit is nothing but 0 and 1. Correct? So 1 bit means it can be either 0 or 1. Okay. So next, you need to understand what is a bit. What is a byte? So byte meaning is it's nothing but it's a collection of 8 bits. Collection of 8 bits. Like for example, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. So this is 1 byte. So can I call this as 1 byte? Yes. So see here, how many total bits are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bits are there. Therefore, you can call it as a 1 byte. Now, can you tell me? Can I call this as 1 byte? Can I call this as a byte? No. This is not 1 byte. Why? It is having only 7 bits. It is having only 7 bits. So therefore, you cannot call as a byte. 1 byte means it should contain 8 bits. Bit can be anything. It can be either 0 or it can be 1. Okay. Next, you need to understand what is a KB. What is a kilobyte? So 1 kilobyte is nothing but 1024 bytes. 1024 bytes, friends. So in computer science, so whenever they are talking about a kilo, so whenever they are talking about kilo, so it means it is 1024. Okay. So whenever they are going to talk about, so bits and bytes data. Okay. So whenever they talk about data, so kilo means 1024. So 1 kilobyte is nothing but 1024 bytes. So this 1024 bytes, we can also write it as 2 power 10 bytes. Okay. Now, if I want to write this in terms of bits, then tell me what is its value. If I want to write this in terms of a bit, then what is its value? So we know that 1 byte is 8 bits, right? So already we have 2 power 10. Already we have 2 power 10. So this byte, can I replace with 8 bits? Yes. So that is 2 power 10 into 8 bits. Okay. Yeah, whatever the value, you can just calculate it and you can put it there. So that is about 1 kilobyte, friends. Next, let's talk about 1 megabyte. So 1 megabyte is nothing but 1024 kilobytes. 1024 kilobytes. You just need to add 1024 before. Now, 1024 is nothing but 2 power 10. This is 2 power 10 KB. Now, if I want to write this in terms of byte, then tell me what it is. 1 kilo is nothing but 2 power 10, right? 1 kilo is nothing but 2 power 10, right? So already you have 2 power 10. So this is 2 power 10 into another 2 power 10, that is in bytes. That is in bytes. So which is nothing but 2 power 20 bytes. Now, if I want to represent this in terms of bits, then what is this? So already we have 2 power 10 into, we know that a byte is nothing but 8 bits. 8 bits. Therefore, 8 bits. So like that. Next, 1 gigabyte is nothing but 1024 MB. 1024 MB. Okay. So 1 MB is nothing but 2 power 10 bytes. Right? Okay. So you can do the calculation. This part you can do it. So you can take it as a homework and you can repeat it. Similarly, 1 terabyte is nothing but 1024 GB. 1024 GB. So this much you should supposed to know. This much you should supposed to know. Okay. So when you purchased, let's say 2 TB of hard disk. Okay. So see this. 1 TB is 1024 GB. Okay. Now the question is, when you purchased a 2 TB of hard disk, when you purchased a 2 TB of hard disk, okay. So I'll put it like this. Assume one movie of HD print of size 2 GB, or let's say 2 GB, 3 GB, 3 GB. Okay. So 3 GB is there. Then when you purchase the 2 TB of hard disk, then how many movies you can store? Okay. So tell me the answer. You purchase the hard disk. You purchase the hard disk of 2 TB hard disk you purchased, and one movie size is of 3 GB. Okay. Then how many movies you can store in that hard disk? How many movies you can store? Six 82 movies. Okay. So see the solution. So they are saying here, convert everything into one unit only. Convert everything into one same unit. That is, so here also GB, movie size is in GB, but our hard disk size is in TB. So convert our hard disk size is also into a GB. Okay. So now you see size of the hard disk. Size of the hard disk is equal to 2 TB. They have given it already. Okay. What is the size of 1 TB? 1 TB is 1024 GB. So in terms of GB, this is 2 into 1024 GB. Because 1 TB is 1024 GB. So 2 TB is nothing but 2 into 1024 GB. So that is 2048. 2048 2048 GB. So 2048 GB. This is the total size of the hard disk. So one movie size is how much? 3 GB. So total hard disk size is 2048 GB. Therefore, how many movies we can store? So number of movies we can store is can be stored total size is 2048 GB and the size of the one movie is 3 GB per movie. So it's going to take 3 GB per movie. So one movie is going to take 3 GB. So when you calculate this, what is GB will get cancelled. So movie will come above. So what is 2048 by 3? Let me take the calculator. So 2048 divided by 3. 682.66. Okay, or you can take 67. 67. So my answer is, now I'm going to ask one question. You tell me the answer is 682 or 683? 682 movies or 683 movies? Which is the answer? You think and tell me. So whoever is saying 683, now let's do the reverse engineering. To store 683 movies, how much hard work is required? To store 683 movies, if I want to store 683 movies, each movie take 3 GB. So total how much size is required? 683 into 3. 2049. 2049 GB. Whereas to store 682 movies, how much GB is required? 682 into 3 GB. 3 GB. This is how much? 682 into 3. 2046 GB. 2046 GB. Your capacity is how much? Hard disk capacity? 2048 GB. So now tell me which one is correct? 682 or 683? 682 is correct, right? So this is the answer. So understood, friends, everyone? Why 683 is not the answer? Okay, so even though 682.67 movie you can store, so you can store only 0.67 part of the movie only. You cannot store the complete movie. Okay, so the round figure cannot be bigger. It should be smaller only. This is what you can call as. Did it cover floor and seal? These topics has been covered for you. Floor, comma, seal. In coding they have covered. Yeah. So what you need to take in this case? Should I go for seal or should I go for floor? In this case, should I go for seal or should I go for floor? Very good. So we have to consider floor here. Have to consider the floor. Have to consider the floor here. Okay. So that answer is 682. Answer is 682. So this is not the answer. This is the correct answer. Okay. So next. Now, next you need to understand one thing, friends. That is difference between byte versus bit. Okay. So one very important thing is you need to understand bit versus byte. Okay. So we know that bit is nothing but it can be either 0 or 1. Correct? Byte is nothing but 8 bits. 8 bits. So which is multiple of 8. 8 times you need to multiply. Okay. Now let's say you have taken the internet connection. So assume Geo. So you have taken Geo or What are the famous broadband that you know, which can provide the internet connection? Famous broadband services that you know? Yeah, Airtel, Geo, different. Fiber Act is there. Fiber Act. Many things are there, na? So let us take a Geo router you have taken, or Geo network connection you have taken. So they are going to provide. They told that they will give you 1 Gbps. Okay. So on verbally they told. So you have called them on a call. So verbally they told that we are going to provide 1 Gbps. 1 GB per second they are going to provide the internet facility, and they are going to charge some rupees. Okay. So let's not go into how much money and all, but they told 1 Gbps. So when they told 1 Gbps, what is that? Like, is it first one 1 GB, first one, or is it a second one when they told on a call 1 Gbps? Can you guess, friends? Is it a first one or is it a second one? Okay, so slight confusion. So many people think that it's a second one, but if you listen, it is a second one and they're fooling you. So they're trying to fool you. Okay. Now you might ask a question, sir, what is the difference? What is it really a big difference between first one and second one? Let's try to understand. Okay. Let's see, is it really a big difference or not? Okay. So it's just a multiple of 8 only, na? Just a multiple of 8. But does it really create a big difference? Maybe let us see. Let us see. Okay. So first case, if I go, for example, first case, if I go, let's say I want to download some web series. Okay. So from the torrent or somewhere you got some link, torrent link that you got, and you want to download that. So let us say it's the file size is, so that the file size is 8 GB, 80 GB. Okay. So let's say this is connection 1 and this is connection 2. Okay. Now that is the download speed. Let's assume both cases file size is 80 GB, here also 80 GB. And you are taken a connection which 1 GB per second you are going to get it. This is 1 gigabyte per second you are going to get it. So now here, let's calculate how much time that it's going to take. Okay, so time taken to download. Time taken to download. So let's see in the first case, how much time does it going to take? So first case, let's see how much time does it going to take. Okay, they are getting 1 GB per second. So in 1 second, how much data that you are getting? 1 GB of the data you are getting. 1 G small b. Okay. But your file size is 80 capital GB. So if I convert this into a small b, then what is the file size? If I convert this is into small b. So 1 B is nothing but 8 bits, right? So therefore this is 640 gigabits. Okay. So in 1 second, if 1 GB that you are getting, so if I want to download, okay, 640 is small GB, then how much time that is going to take, friends? 1 GB 1 second, total 640 GB, 640 seconds. Simple, na? So it's going to take total of 640 seconds. 640 seconds. Okay. Now let's see the second case. Second case, the data you are getting as 1 capital GB, which is a multiple of 8. If speed is multiple of 8 means time will be divided of 8 now. Got it, right? If speed is multiple of 8 means time will be divided by 8. Simple. Now how much time it's going to take here? Let's understand. Okay. So in 1 second, you are able to download 1 GB of file size, 1 capital GB. If you want to download 80 GB, then how many time you need to take? Just a multiple of 80. So 80 seconds you are going to take. 80 seconds. Okay. So here you might not feel much difference. This is also 640 seconds. This is also 80 seconds. But what if file size is very larger? What if file size is very larger? So assume file size is very large. Very large. Okay. So if in this case, if it is taking 640 hours, then in this case, how much it will take? 80 hours, right? Very good. 80 hours. 80 hours. So roughly how many days it is? 80 hours means roughly how many days? 3 days? Not 3, I think 4 days is required. Because 3 days you have 72 hours only. So 3 days plus extra how many hours? 3 days plus extra how many hours? So 3 days, 72. Extra 8 hours is required. Extra 8 hours is required. So roughly 3.5 days. Okay. Whereas how many days here it is required? Approximately 840 divided by 24, how much? Approximately 25 days. Huh? So let me divide this. 640 divided by 24. 26. 26 hours plus extra how much? Extra how many hours that are left out? So 24 into 26 minus 640. So 16 hours are left. So 16 hours. 26 days plus 16 hours. 16 hours. So if the file size is very large, okay, then if you going to take connection 1, then to download that very large file, you are going to take almost 1 month. 26 days, 16 hours. So 27, so more or less almost one month it's going to take. Whereas if you take the connection 1 GB per second, then roughly in 4 days only you can download that file. So I hope, can you see the difference? In small seconds, you might not feel the difference. Okay. But if the file size is very large, okay, then you can clearly see the difference. Right? So always, whenever they say it is a GBps or MBPS, so they mean to say it's a first one. Okay. Whenever on a call, if they says na MBPS, GBPS, okay, all these things are first one, not the second one. This is wrong. They're trying to fool you. If they say like that, then they're trying to fool you. No one is going to provide like this. Capital GB won't be there. It's always a small GBPS. If you want, you can now go there and you can check your connection. So on the check connection, on the router, you can see that symbols. One GBPS, one small b, capital B. You can see small b, capital B. Okay, it is always small b only. Always it is a small b only. Yeah, it's same for MBPS, KBPS, GB, TBPS. It's same for all. So it's same for all. MBPS also. It's even same for KBPS also. Okay. So it's always a small b only. Small b only. Okay. So everyone understood? Second one not exist. Yes, very good. Second one won't exist. If they give you second one now with a less price, they need to sell the company. if they provide you second case, if they provide the second case, then they need to shut down their next day only. Okay, so got it, everyone. So I'm talking about the network speed. I'm talking about the network speed. Okay. So I'm talking about network speed. Speed, like internet that you are going to purchase, na, that is network speed. It's possible with supercomputers. Sorry, in NASA, yeah, so there the story is different. In NASA, in big companies where they require high-speed internet, so there the story is different. So I am talking about in your hometown, like in your home, whenever the network service provider, so ISPs, right? ISP, internet service provider. So I'm talking about ISPs. I am talking about ISPs. So ISPs means internet service providers. Okay. So the one who provide internet to your home. So be it be Geo. So example, so Geo, okay, Airtel and Fiber Act, Fiber Act. What else? Geo, Airtel, Excel also there. Excel also there. Then Tata people also will provide. And local, some local providers are there, right? Yeah, Net Plus. So many local providers are there. So generally what these local providers will do, so they are going to purchase from the big people, big companies, like they can purchase from the Geo or they can purchase from Airtel and they are going to distribute to your locals. Because sometimes what can happen is if your hometown is very like it's not so popular or if your population is very less, then what these company people does now, so they won't provide internet connection to your very remote places. Then local people what they do, they'll purchase net from there and they are going to distribute to your local cities like that, right? So all these providers, so generally they are going to provide your network speed as small b only. Network speed as so kb per second, okay, then mb per second, then gb per second, all are small b only, okay, right? Yeah, like before I studied all these things like there is one subject called computer networks. Okay, so in the computer science there is one subject called computer network is there. So before I studied this subject, even I too thought that they are going to provide capital B only. So they are going to provide this capital B only. But later I realized that they're trying to make fool us. No one will provide this capital B. Whoever provides small b only. Small b only. Okay. So I hope everyone got it now. Before I used to think that, they are going to provide like this. Okay, so this is the doubt, one time I got during my college days. So like when I studied about around my third year, no, second year of my BTech. So we all used to have the laptops. So in my college, they used to provide laptops to all the students. So my seniors, whoever in final year or in the pre-final year, so they used to host the servers. So they used to host a server, okay, and in the server they are going to put all the movies. So in torrent now, so they'll collect all the torrent files and they'll download and they'll going to host in this server. So when we try to download all these movies now, so they'll tell that IP number, and in that IP number when we try to download, so even though that movie looks like 2 GB, so that HD print 2 GB, okay. So in our speed also in local, that is a local LAN actually, all in a college network only, no internet and all. So I used to thought that people are my network admin, they're trying to say that so we are getting in GB because it's a local now. I thought in 2 seconds movie should download. So movie size is 2 GB. They used to say that because it is a local LAN, so no internet, it's a intranet within the college. If you go outside of that college, it will not work. Then they used to say that your internet speed is 2 GB per second. Okay, no, 1 GB per second. Then I used to think that when I open that IP address and when I click the download, in 2 seconds that movie should be download. But it's not working like that. Then I asked God, why it is not working? Because the movie size is 2 GB. They are telling that 1 GB per second. So within 2 seconds, movie needs to be downloaded. Na? If you use a simple mathematics, so 2 GB is there. In 1 second, 1 GB you are getting. So in 2 seconds, 2 GB movie needs to be downloaded. But it's not happening. So then I got to know that it is not a GB. It is a small GB. Right? So it's the total 16 seconds to download. Okay. So it's a small b, which means it is 8 times of that. So that is 16 seconds in the reality. So at least somebody saying they fooled us. Yes, that is true. That is true. Okay. So that whenever they say GB or GB, you ask them, is it a capital B or is it a small b? Right. I hope everyone realizes it now. I think few students already know, but at least students who don't know before, at least now you got to know what is the reality about GB and small GB. Or it applicable MB, KB also. Okay, good. So now let's go to the next topic. So this is all the story about number system. Sorry, this is all the about memory units and data, all these things. Sir, my net speed is showing GB. Is it so? Send me the screenshot. Yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple. If it is showing GB now, then for example, I'll tell you, if it is showing a GB, capital B, then simple. You open that, what I would say, movie rules or iBomma, whatever one website you open, and you try to download that movie, and you will get to know whether it is capital GB or whether it is small b, whether it is small b. Or I'll just show one thing. For example, I'll just open the Google. So I'll type internet speed test. Okay. So now let me run the speed test here. Okay. So I just connected through my internet. Now I'm just checking the speed test. So it is running. So it's showing mega. So download speed and MB speed. Now see here. What is here? It is present. Let me take the screenshot of this. So I'll take the screenshot and I'll add it here. Okay. Now check this. What is it is? So download speed is 54.5 M. They will always put in small letters only. Whether, I don't know, did you observe it or not? Did you observe it or not? They will always put this in a small letters. See, which B it is? Small b only. Small b. Okay, see, this 54.5 is a very big number, but see, this is very small number. Sorry, small in terms of a size. In terms of size, if you see, 50.5 is a very big number. Okay, in terms of font size is bigger, but you see the font size of this small MBB. Got it? Got it, everyone now? So upload speed is this much. Now, when I try to download a movie from the movie rules or torrent, then it won't work like this because it is a small b, which is 8 times more. It's going to take 8 times more. Right? So yeah, somebody saying, sir, overall in network MB means megabit only, small b. Yes, that's the perfect. Perfect, that is. Right? Okay, somebody saying, sir, see, mine is 26 Mbps. Yeah, that is bit only. That is always a small bit. Okay, so this is all about, bits and bytes and units. Now, next, let us talk about one thing called number system. So number system. Somebody say this is called as business. Yes, that is business. Okay, so now let's enter into a new topic. So far bits, bytes, KB, MB, all the things are done. All the things are done. Now next, let's going to learn a new topic that is called numbers system. So it's an interesting topic. So please listen carefully. So total we have 4 different number systems are present, friends. So these all you need to know. So the first one is decimal number system. So decimal number system is having a base 10. So base is used to represent which type of number system it is. So base is used to represent which type of number system it is. Okay. So now let's see, like, what is this? What is a base and why these many different number systems are there? All these things. Like, for example, let us say, okay, Lokesh, okay, got a message from his girlfriend. So let's take Anjali. Okay. So Anjali texted to Lokesh on the WhatsApp. So baby, please do a recharge of 399. Okay. So when Anjali asked like this, immediately Lokesh will get to know that, okay, so Anjali is asking 399 rupees of recharge and Lokesh will do that. Lokesh will do. What if this 399, she can represent it in another way also. If they simply, she replied on the WhatsApp, I need a recharge of 3,999. Then he no need to worry about in which number system she wrote that. Because as a humans in day-to-day life, we are going to talk about decimal number system only. In a day-to-day life, we are going to talk about the decimal number system only. Whereas This 399, she can represent it in another number system also. Like this zeros and ones also. If she put a base 2, then what does it mean? Then, Lokesh is to think that, for example, if she did not put this, then Lokesh is to think that it is how much? Ones, tens, 100,000, lakh, million. So it's a 10 crores, more crores it is, right? If simply it is like this, then this is 10,000, 110. If I add one more one, then it will go in a lakh. If I add one more one, then it go in a crores. Like that, na? So in a day-to-day life, we talk that's in a decimal number system, which contains digits from 0 to 9 only. 0 to 9 only. Second thing that we have is a binary number system. So in the binary number system, we are going to talk about only zeros and ones only. No other thing. Zeros and ones only. So next we have something called as octal number system. In octal number system, the base is 8. Base is 8. Okay. So in that number system, the digits are only from 0 to 7 only. So 0 to 7. Okay. So if I need to say that, yes, I am using an octal number system, then they need to mention which base it is. Which base it is. Next, we have fourth one called as hexadecimal. So in hexadecimal, the base is 16, friends. Base is 16. Okay. So which can contain 0 to 9 and A to F. We will discuss little later what is this hexadecimal and all. Now let's understand. Okay. If, for example, let's say if Anjali says to Lokesh, okay, she replied like, so I need this much rupees. Then what Lokesh will think that? So she required 1011 rupees. If she did not put a base. For example, if she added 1011 base 2, then that number is a different. Okay. If she put 1011 8, then its number is a totally different. Then if she put base 16, so it's a totally different. Now, if she replied like this, without base, then what does it mean? Without base, if she put, then by default, what we need to understand? Yes, very good. It's a decimal number system. Because humans understand only decimal number system. Humans understand only decimal number system. Correct? Okay. Now, if she sent like that in a WhatsApp, she did like this. She did a base 2. But as a humans, I told we can understand only decimal. So we need to convert this into we have to convert this to decimal, correct? This to decimal. Then only we can get to. Similarly, if we have a base 8, what is this value? To get to know, you need to convert this to a decimal. Similarly, when you have like this, then to understand what is its value, you need to convert this to decimal. Okay. If no base is mentioned, then by default, it is a decimal. But if you added a base, then the value is going to change. Now let's understand in whichever number system that is there, if you want to convert that into a decimal, how to do that? Okay. But before that, I have one question here. So just see this. I have written some questions here. Okay. So which of the following are valid? The question is. So we know that, see carefully, friends, see carefully. So in binary means this is base 2. Base 2. So if it is a base 2 means only 0, 1 are valid. Okay. If it is a octal means base 8. So only 0 to 7 are valid. So 1 minus they're valid. Hexadecimal is base 16. Base 16 is hexadecimal. So 0 to 9. Okay. Next, we don't have 10, 11, 12 and all. So there is no 10, 11 friends. These are not there. Instead of that, they have given a letters. So A corresponding to 10, B corresponding to 11, C corresponding to 12, D corresponding to 13, E corresponding to 14, and F corresponding to 15. Okay, now? Okay. So now the question is, which of the following are valid? So you see this, they have given it as a base 2. So whenever it is a base 2, whatever the digits that we have inside are only 0, 1 only, nothing else. So tell me, is it a valid or invalid? It's a valid, right? Yes. So it is a valid. Because if it is a base 2 means only 0 and 1 are allowed. 0, 1 are allowed. Now, similarly, let's see some other questions also. Okay, first let's see the second question. Let's see the second question. You tell me it is a valid or invalid. Clearly, it is a invalid, correct? It's a clearly invalid. Why it is invalid? Because the base is 2. If base is 2 means only 0 to 1 are allowed. But we have 7, we have 6. So hence it is invalid. Next, can you tell me it is a valid or invalid? You have base 8. Base 8 means 0 to 7. It can be anything. Yeah, numbers also 0 to 7 only. So yes, it is a valid. So invalid, I will put like this. Valid, I will put like this. Next, you tell me it's a valid or invalid? Yeah, it is also valid only. Valid. Why? Because see, it is a base 10 means you can put anything. It is a base 10. That's a decimal. Okay, is it really required to mention the base 10? If at all they want to put it, number system as a decimal, is it really required to put the base? Not required. Not required. Okay, but still they have added. So hence it is a base 10. Okay, now tell me it's a valid or invalid? So remember it is a base 16. So base 16 means, so hexadecimal. Hexadecimal. So hexadecimal 0 to 9 and A to F. That is base 16. Hexa. Hexa means 6. Decimal means 10. So total 16. So this is also valid. Okay, you tell me this is valid or invalid? Yeah, this is also base 10 means you no need to check also. Valid. Okay. Okay, just one small change to this. See here. I'll give you one small modification. Now tell me, this is valid or invalid? This is very good. This is invalid. This is invalid. Why? Because we have a B. This is valid in hexadecimal. This is valid in base 16, but not in base 10. Okay. Next one, tell me, valid or invalid? Question 7. It is also invalid because we have base 8. Base 8 means 0 to 7 only, but you have A, B, A. These are valid in hexadecimal, not in octal. Next, this is valid or invalid? Yeah, this is perfectly valid. Base 10, so you can put 101, no problem. You can put no problem. Next, base 8, valid or invalid? See, this is base 8 means anything you can put 0 to 7, anything is okay. Yeah, all are within 0 to 7 only, na? So this is also valid. Okay. Now, next 10th question, tell me, valid or invalid? Yeah, very good. This is also valid. 16. So 16 means anything you can put 0 to 9, comma A to F. Anything in this range only. So this is also valid. Right? Okay. So I hope everyone understood. So whether it is a base number system, which one it's valid or invalid. Okay. So now let's understand. Now let's understand one question here. So let me take one number. First, let's understand Let's understand a decimal number system. So like which we will use as a humans. As a humans, okay. So if I take one number like this, 749. Okay. How are you going to pronounce this? How are you going to pronounce this? If I take n is equal to 749. Decimal spelling mistake. Okay. Right? How are we going to pronounce this, friends? It's a 749. Correct? 749. So which means this is 100th place. This is 10th place. This is units place. Am I correct? This is 7 is 100th place. This is 10th place. This is unit place. I think in school days you might have studied these things. Unit or one, yes. Okay. So this 749, which is actually in base 10 by default. By default. Okay. So here I can write 10 power 0. This is 10 power 1. This is 10 square. Okay. So this I can write it as 10 square into 7 plus 10 power 1 into 4 plus 10 power 0 into 9. Now, can you add and tell me what is this value? This is 100 into 7. That is 700 plus 10 power 1 into 4, 40 plus 10 power 0, 1 into 9. So that is 749. So that is how we are going to read this. So when you are reading this as how actually it's got as, this is the reason, friends, because it is in a base 10. So units place, 10th place, 100th place. So this will not only applicable to this, you take any other number also. Like for example, if I take another number as 1923. Okay. Or else I will take another. So 7293. Okay. How we are going to pronounce this? 7293. Am I correct? Is it the same way? Are you going to pronounce this number as 7,293. Okay, there might be spelling mistake. Okay, please do not focus much on that. Okay, how are we going to pronouncing as 7,000? The reason is it is in base 10. So see carefully, friends. 7,293. By default, this is in base 10. Okay. And when you write their units, so first one is 10 power 0. Next one is 10 power 1. Next one is 10 square. Next one is 10 cube. And when you expand this, so 10 cube into 7, 10 cube into 7 plus 10 square into 2 plus 10 power 1 into 9 plus 10 power 0 into 3. Now, when you calculate this, 10 cube is 1000. 1000 into 7, that is 7000 plus 10 square is 100. 100 into 2, that is 200 plus 10 power 1 is 10 into 9, that is 90. 10 power 0 is 1. So 1 into 3. Now, when you add all this, 700 plus 200 plus 90 plus 3. So it will be 7293. So this is the explanation behind this reading. Okay, got it, everyone, this much? Right? Okay, so now let's continue this. See, this is a base 10. So hence I am writing 10 powers because it is a base 10. I'm writing 10 powers. So now, let's say, now, okay. So Anjali sent a message to Lokesh. So Anjali texted to Lokesh such that first what she texted as, she she texted 1723. Then he can understood. Lokesh can understood that yes, it's in decimal. It's in decimal. So okay, its value is okay. So it's in decimal, and so its value is 1723. What if she sends like this? 1 1 0 1 0 1 0 base 2. Now he need to understand like which base it is. So it's in base 2, right? Correct. It is in base 2. So she texted like this. She texted like this. Now Lokesh need to understand. Okay, send do a recharge of this much. Okay, so Anjali texted like this. She put a base 2 and texted to Lokesh and asked do this much research. Then how, if you can do like this, go to ask any shopkeeper, he'll give left and right. Are what you are saying, I'm not even understanding also. So as a humans, we understood only binary. So now we need to convert this into, sorry, we understand decimals. So now we have to convert, right? Whatever this number, we have to convert this into decimal, which humans can understand. Now, how to do that? It's very simple. It's very simple. See, 1723, 1723, because it is in base 10, because it is in base 10, so you have written 10 powers, 10 power 0, 10 power 1, 10 square, and 10 cube, and you multiplied all this. After that, you added, correct? Why? Because it is in a base 10, but it is in base 2, right? So how we are going to do? Same process. Since it is in base 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, it is in base 2. Since it is in base 2, now you are going to write 2 powers. Now you are going to write all the 2 powers starting from 0. So that is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 power. Now when you convert this to back, so this is 2 power 4 into 1 plus 2 power 3 into 0 plus 2 square into 1 plus 2 power 1 into 1 plus 2 power 0 into 0. So when you add this to back, so 2 power 4, that is 16 plus this is anyhow 0, 8 into 0, this is 0 plus 2 square, 4 into 1, 4 plus this is 2 power 1, that is 2 plus this is anyhow 0. Now what is this value? 22. So now Lokesh needs to do 22 rupees of recharge to Anjali. So understood? Now let's say next she texted like, next what she texted is, so next she texted like, so now how much rupees of recharge that Lokesh need to do? Come on calculator and tell me. Take pen and paper. Now Lokesh needs to understand like how much money recharge did she need to do to her, right? So come on calculator and tell me now. $982, okay. $3304. Okay, don't do any calculation mistakes, please. Do not do any calculation mistakes. Okay. So now to convert this into decimal, because humans understand decimals only, right? So base 10. How are we going to do? Simple process. So 1, 7, 3, 2. Now I want to convert this into base 10, but it is in base 8. See, this is human understandable. Humans can understand this. Okay. So simple. 8 power 0, 8 power 1, 8 square, 8 cube. Okay. So now you check, this is 8 cube into 1 plus 8 square into 7 plus 8 power 1 into 3 plus 8 power 0 into 2. So when you do this, what is 8 cube is how much? 512, right? This is 512 plus 64 into 7. So 64 into 7, 448. So 448 plus 8 power 1 into 3, that is 24. This is 2. Okay. Now when you add up all this, how much you are getting? When you add all this, 1000. Okay, let me add it. 512, 448. This is 26. 986 na? I'm getting 986. 986 is the answer. Right? This is basic addition. Please don't do any mistakes. Otherwise, I need to teach second or third class to you. Not DSA. I need to teach additions. Right? 986. Okay, you tell me. So now Lokesh will understand that, okay, I need to do 986 rupees of recharge to Anjali. Now, for example, if Anjali sends like this, okay, now come on, tell me how much rupees of money did Lokesh need to do as a recharge? You think properly and tell me the answer. I know you all going to do that answer. You'll be just adding another plus 6 to that. See the question. See the question and tell me. Is it 1000? Check it carefully. Small trick is present in that question. Anjali want to test the knowledge of Lokesh. Okay, so Anjali needs to test the Lokesh of knowledge. Just like others, Lokesh also will calculate and he will do the research. Then Anjali says, Arey, it's a invalid. It's a invalid. Invalid representation. If it is an invalid representation, how are you going to do that? Understood, everyone? It's not at all possible also. That's why in the starting I told which of the following are valid, which of the following are invalid. Why it is invalid? Starting I told in the class. In the class I told, right, if it is a base 8 means what are only possible. That's why listen class properly. Okay. Instead of focusing on Anjali and Lokesh, focus on the class. You are focusing more on these two people. Beyond the domain, yes. So 8 means 0 to 7 only valid. But I put intentionally 8 here. So it's an invalid representation. Okay. So last question. Last question. Tell me, what is this in base 10? I'm not asking valid, invalid. What is its value? Four three three zero zero. Okay, don't do calculation mistakes, please. So simple. So first of all, before calculating, you need to check whether it is valid or not. Okay, you tell me valida, invalida. This representation, valida, invalida. It is valid. So we can go for the calculation. We can go for the calculation. So this is a 9, 2, 4. This is in base 16. So therefore, this is 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, and 16 cube. But what is A? A is 10. So 16 cube is multiplied by A plus 16 square is multiplied by 9 plus 16 power 1 is multiplied by 2 plus 16 power 0 is multiplied by 4. Now what is A? A is nothing but a 10. So now 16 cube into 10 plus this as it is. So you can do the calculation and you can check what is the answer. So you can check, take it as a homework and you can do the calculation, right? Okay. So overall, right? So if it is in base 2 or if it is in base 8 or if it is in base 16, how to convert this to base 10 we have seen. Am I correct? This conversion we have seen. Like base 2 to base 10, base 8 to base 10, base 16 to base 10. Right? So in the tomorrow's class, let us see how to do in the reverse. Like base 10 to how to convert this to base 2, how to convert this to base 8, how to convert this to base 16. This we will see tomorrow. Okay. Let's see tomorrow. Okay. Reverse. And along with that, what other things that we will see tomorrow is this we will see. Along with that, if I give base 2, how to convert it to base 16? Or if I give you it is in base 8, how will you convert to base 16? Like cross conversion. So this is called as cross conversion. So these two things we will see tomorrow. Okay, now? So this and this. These two we will see in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so that we can finish the number system topic. The reason why I'm discussing all these things are, okay, because in later classes, you need to write a programs, friends. Okay, so in the later classes, you need to write a programs for this because in some interviews, what they can ask. So let's say this is the number system which is in base 10. Now convert this into base 8. For that, you need to write a program like in Python or JavaScript, whichever language. So for that, first you should know the concepts. Now, otherwise you cannot convert. So hence we are discussing these concepts in depth. Okay, na? So clear, everyone? Just let me know in the chat. Right? So these are all interesting. These topics are interesting, right? Okay, good. So I'll just stop the recording.